Okay, this is section 3.2, the use of parallel lines and transversals. And we're going to start this off with vocab. And the first thing we have here is corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are two angles that are formed by two lines and a transversal and occupy corresponding positions. So an example of this would be angles A and B right here. Okay. And the next one we have is alternate interior angles, which are two angles that are formed by two lines and a transversal and lie between two lines and the opposite sides of the transversal. And that is right here. So it would be angles 3 and 4 because they're on the different sides of the transversal and they're on the interior. And the next one we have is alternate exterior angles, which are two angles that are formed by two lines and a transversal and lie outside the two lines and on opposite sides of the transversal. And that would be angles 1 and 2 right here. It's on opposite sides of this transversal and it's on the exterior. And the last one we have is consecutive interior, which could also be called same side interior angles. And they are two angles that are formed by two lines and a transversal and lie between two lines and on the same side of the transversal. So that would be right here, angles C and D, on the same side of the transversal and on the interior.
Some more examples of these angles are angle A. These angles are alternate interior angles. The angle B's are alternate exterior angles. And angles A and angle C are corresponding angles. Now we're going to move on to the postulates and theorems. The first postulate is corresponding angles postulate, which is two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the pairs of the corresponding angles are congruent. An example of that is angle 8 and angle 4. The next theorem is the alternate interior angles theorem, which is if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the pairs of the alternate interior angles are congruent. An example of that is angle number 6 and 3. And there are the alternate exterior angles theorem, which is if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the pairs of the alternate exterior angles are congruent, which is angle 7 and angle 2. And lastly, the consecutive interior angles theorem, which is if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the pairs of the consecutive interior angles are supplementary, which are 5 and 3. That Example number 2 is by Emma, and example number 1 is by Jessica. To find more exercises and examples and problems on 3.2, you can go to page 157 in your textbook, and it continues on to 160. That'll be all for section 3.2.